Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So, in honor of it being Pride Month this June, we're gonna have a little story time. Sawyer's coming out story time. And I'm just gonna go through like what it was like for me and then like growing up in the South in the LGBT community, especially being in the Bible Belt. So you may wanna go pour yourself a glass of something strong. So, um, let me just get my glass here and we're just gonna ASMR this again. So good. We're gonna fill it full because we're gonna need it full. Full enough for now. So let's see here. It is 2021. I came out in 2012, maybe. I was 19. So yeah, I think it was sophomore year of college I came out, and 2012, coming out in college, you would think super easy breezy, and for the most part it was, but I think there's a lot that people don't think about whenever you haven't came out yet and that whole situation. So we'll start with that leading up to the actual coming out itself. So, like I said, being a little closeted gay, growing up most of your life, like I would say whenever I was younger, like they just say, you're different from other people, and you don't think that way as a kid because you just think I'm a kid and you don't think that you're any different than any other kid. But I don't know. I think there's always like parents say there's like telltale signs and all this, and I'm not a parent, so I can't say yes or no. But like, I mean, did I love sports growing up as a kid? No. Did I love playing some sports? Sure. Um, my older sister was a cheerleader, and I thought that, that was the coolest thing in the world. So I was like, ooh, I want to be a cheerleader whenever I grow up. And didn't think anything about it. And I was just like, it's cheerleading. I'm like, anybody can do it. And then, like, I never really liked action figures or anything, but I did love Barbies for some reason. Barbies were fun. I loved to like dress up Barbies, clothing stuff, and then one year for Christmas, I think I wanted an Easy Bake, and my dad got me a Queasy Bake, which is the boy equivalent of the Easy Bake, and it made like nasty stuff. Like you could do like worm pudding or moldy bread cake or something. I don't know. It was, like I said, the male equivalent of an Easy Bake oven. And so I was like, okay, that's cool, that's fine. And like, don't think anything about it. Like some people in my family hunted and fished. Did I want to do that? No. I could never kill an animal if I wanted to. But yeah, like, you don't really think anything about it as a kid. But yeah, like, it doesn't really hit you probably. Like, I didn't start like thinking internally about it until I was probably 14, 15, maybe somewhere like that. I was already in high school. And like, I don't know, like you just don't think that way. I thought in high school I was just kind of like, this is still kind of normal. This is puberty. This is everybody. Like everybody goes through this at some point. Like you don't think like, oh, I'm any different than anybody else, or you don't think that, oh, I'm gay. You don't think that. Like you just think, oh, this is, as everybody says, a phase. And for so long you tell yourself that, and it's just what you become the phase, I guess. And like, it's, you don't think about it too much in high school. Some people do now, like I didn't back then. I was just kind of like, okay, this is denial, I suppose. But you don't, like, I mean, did I think it probably towards like junior senior year of high school? Probably. But I was just like, maybe not. Maybe it's just because I haven't like really had like a relationship with a girl or not. And I was just, I don't know, but I never really felt that like physical attraction to women. Like, I think I had that mental attraction sort of, because I think because maybe I thought more like a woman. I don't know. Like, I wouldn't say I'm extremely effeminate, but I would say I'm more on the effeminate side. But I don't know, and like I was always bullied as a kid because my voice was higher pitched than everybody else's, and I hated that. Like, oh my god, I hated my voice. Like, even sometimes now, like whenever I hear my voice on a recording or something, I'm just like PTSD, and I'm like, oh, I hate hearing my voice on a recording. And like, I if I answered the phone somewhere, I got ma'am. I still do, still to this day at my job. I can answer the phone, and they're like, thank you, ma'am, and I'm like, have a good day. But you like, I was just kind of picked on as a child as like, oh, you're gay, or the I was never really called the like FAGG slur a lot, FAGGOT slur. Like, I think like too many people like in my town was like, they would have called me that behind my back, but probably never to my face. Like, they'd probably just say like, oh, you're a girl, oh, you're girly, or oh, you're gay, he's probably gay, or that number. And like, you're bullied for so long that you just start internalizing all of it. And I think mentally it didn't really hit me until like senior year, and like I was like, okay, I mean, maybe, what if, like, but I would never have came out in high school, like, not in my small crazy country backwoods rinky dink town. No, like, even now, still probably not. Like, so any of my kids from home watching this, you know how it is. Like, I would say I had very supportive classmates if I would have. But, there was people that I went to school with who I was just like, you pick on me enough. And if you know who you are and you ever watch this, just know, yeah, it's bullying. Um, so you internalize that, and like, I don't know, I just guess the whole way I deferred all of it was just thought about school. Like, I focused on school, being a straight A student, making the best grades. Like, I can already tell I'm probably gonna have to pour another glass. But you just internalize it for so long that the real you is no longer there. And I think once I got to college, I told myself, I was like, if it's something that comes back up, we'll address it then. But being picked on as a child for it, you just think I'll grow out of it, or if I pretend it's not there, it won't exist. Like, if you cover up your head, the boogeyman won't see you. And that's sort of what it was, is the boogeyman. And you covered him up, and he couldn't see you anymore because you were in that blanket of protection, that disguise that you wore, and it was who you were. And then, so like, college, I'm not gonna cry yet, we'll save that for later. But college was like, ooh, a new experience. I'm moving out of this little town, and I was just like, it'll be better. Sawyer will be who Sawyer wants to be once he gets to college and is away from everything that has ever felt like it wronged me in my entire life. As I was just like, you'll escape from it. And that's what a lot of kids have to do. Like, if you grow up in a small, closed-minded town, that's what you have to do. You have to run away from it, because otherwise you'll be trapped in that same mindset, being depressed. And so, like, I don't think it, like first year of college, like, like, I sort of was like trying to make it onto the dating apps, the hookup apps we all know, but I don't think I actually really ever did anything with it, because I was too scared then, because I still hadn't really accepted that part of who I was, and I was just still sort of in denial with it. And then you meet somebody, and it's one of those things that you feel like, I didn't feel obligated to come out then, but I felt like I met somebody, and I felt like, like, I couldn't hide who they were, and I wasn't gonna hide who they were from the rest of the world. And I was just like, finally, like, sat down to it, and I was just like, I'm gonna do it. Like, I had stopped going home. Like, I think it was like I had not been home and saw my family in 6 months, and I live 45 minutes, an hour away from them. And like, I was depressed from not going home. I was depressed from like hiding who I was, because like even like my roommate, I like hid it from her. And then you like, and like I knew my roommate would have been supportive of it, and she was after the fact. And but you never know. So I just hid it. I hid it from everybody except the LGBT people that I had met in school. Like I hid it from everybody except them, because that was the people I was the most comfortable with. And you have that little group that you're like, you come so close with, and it's homey. And so like that's whenever home doesn't start feeling like home anymore. This new friend group starts feeling like home. And I think that ate me up inside a little bit, because I'm such a homebody. And you don't miss that part of yourself until something triggers it. And so like I hadn't been home, I hadn't saw my dad, I hadn't saw my grandma in months, and that was eating me up, because I'm super close to my family, or so I thought I was. And it's, you don't, like, you miss it. And so I finally was just like, you got to do something about it. And so I drove home. I drove the hour home, and I was thinking the whole time in my head, I'm like, you can't do this. You can't do this. It's going to end terribly. And I thought for sure like it was going to end terribly. And so like I got home and I was a nervous wreck. I cried the whole way home. And I was like, I'm like, the hardest person that it's going to be for me to come out to is going to be my dad. So I was just like, let's just rip the Band-Aid off and do that first. So like, let's just get the worst over with, is what I thought in my head. So I was like, okay. And so I come out to my dad that night, like, and he was super supportive of it. Like I broke down and cried again. And so then like I was like, okay, this wasn't bad. Like he did not react the way I expected him to. So Father, if you watch this, kudos to you. You did good. But so then I was just like, okay. And then like I knew my mom, like deep down I knew my mom would not care really. Like she's the fun loving mother that everybody needs in their life, because I knew she would be so accepting of it, because she's that person that love is love, and she doesn't care who you love. And so like I knew it'd be okay for me to come out to her, and I was gonna use her as my cushion basically if crap hit the fan. And it didn't. So some time goes by, I come out to friends and they're all supportive of it, and it was everything. And so like that depression was gone, and I was like, I can finally be who I want to be. And I'm like, I'm not gonna hide it anymore. And it was just like a whole new me. And I was finally like, I didn't care who I told at that point. Like I was just like, if you can't accept me for who I am and not the person, and you're more accepting of the person that I have used as a disguise for most of my life now, I'm like, that's on you. That's not my problem anymore. I'm like, and that's the hardest thing, because as somebody who is from a small town, and like you never know how people's going to react to it, you wear this disguise for so long that you become the disguise, and the real you's not there anymore. And it's so suppressed and gone that you don't know who you're going to be after this. And that's the depression that eats you up. The disguise is the depression that you've put forward to have to use to mask all of it, because that's what society wants for so long, is for you to mask who you really are, because they're not ready for who you are. And so for the people who struggle with coming out, it's not easy. It's so not easy. And people are just like, oh, be who you want to be. I'm like, no, you can't. Sometimes where you're from, you can't. Like you could be hate crimed for it, and nobody's going to do anything about it, because you're just some little queer kid, and everybody else is, they are like in the pockets of everybody. And I'm just like, if I would have been hate crimed in school, it would have been my fault. It would have been my fault for trying to be who I wanted to be. And I'm pretty sure it would have been one of those things that were like, oh, well, you did this, and that's not right. but you never know. That's how it could have been. So it's hard. So you wear that mask until you feel safe that you don't have to anymore. And I finally got tired of wearing that mask. And now, like, it's been 10 years almost. And I could not imagine. Like, I feel sorry for the Sawyer that was there, because you weren't you, kid. You weren't you. Um, so eventually it'll get better. Like, if you have to move, you shouldn't have to, but if you do, to be more comfortable, then that's what you have to do. Like, coming out is never easy. It gets easier, but it's never super easy unless you are in a group that just is so open and just oof. So like anytime I ever meet people who are like LGBT friendly or something, or I come across somebody who I know is an ally, I'm just like, where were you 10 years ago when I really needed you? But I'm thankful you're here now, because it's always good to have that backbone of support. And like I said, but now I'm, like I said, happily out. I have been out 10 years. It's, I think pride is one of those things, like whenever we think about it, I think we all just think of rainbows and everything. And I would like, pride isn't to me always about the rainbows and the sunshine. It's about the shit you went through that got you there. So I feel like another P word that goes with pride is proud. And yeah, I'm proud of who I am now. I'm proud of the person I have become, because I'm no longer hiding the person that I was. So I think those two words go very hand in hand with Pride Month. So, and like, don't be a sucker to all those pride people out there that's like, ooh, money, capitalize off the rainbow. So that's something too that I urge you to do, is to look into those people who are like so like quick to like slap a pride flag on something, or an LGBT rainbow flag on something. Look who they donate to. So I see you out there, you fake people, you fake pride people, supporting anti-pride things. But you know, we're here, we're queer, and I'm gonna do what I want. So it's okay to be afraid and to not come out when you're not ready to. But when you're ready to, don't let anything hold you back, because I let it hold me back for too long, and I was too upset for too long. And if your friends and family accept you for who you are, then yay. If they don't, then that's what the families that you make come from. And I've made a bunch of great families. So that's the best part that comes out of it. Pride comes with a lot of family and a lot of community. So you're not alone out there. Never think you're alone. My channel is always a safe space for people. So, but yeah, that's all that I have for this video, because like I said, I'm not gonna like full blown squall baby it out. The rest of Pride Month, I do have some things planned. Like, I think for the month of June, I'm only going to read like LGBT authors, so I'm going to review some LGBT books. So like just some good ones to throw out there. If anybody wants some suggestions, Adam Silvera, oh my god, One Last Stop, Casey McQuiston, I think's her name. Who else? Andrea Gibson does really good poetry. Alexis Hall. That's just a few that I can see from my bookshelf sitting here. But yeah, I'm gonna review some Pride books this month. Some books with some LGBT authors and LGBT based stuff. So yeah, that is it for this video. And leave me some comments in the description box below of what you think Pride Month is about and how you celebrate your pride. And I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.